That's what we'll do.
Yeah, I was going to say at the bottom of our screen it says record, but I don't know where it records to.
Okay. All right. So it looks like it is recording. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone. Keep an eye on just who also tries to join in. Let me do that as well, just to get the folks that may join us here, participants. I'll keep an eye on that over here in this other monitor. Okay. So thanks everyone for attending the meeting. I know maybe it's during busy times. I know some people have to go and have dinner. So my apologies for jumping into your dinner. So if this time doesn't work for the majority of people, please let me know, and we'll look to reschedule at a time that meets everyone's or meets the majority's schedule. So again, thank you. Let's go to next slide. So the agenda, as I sent out, was this: we'll go over some introductions, 2020 recap, looking ahead for 2021, and just cover the structure here as we have it in the meeting. So introductions first. I know a lot of you guys don't know me. I'm fairly new to USATF. When I say fairly new, 5 years. So that's still fairly new here in Hawaii. So I'm a dad of a 13, 14, excuse me, goodness gracious, because of COVID, she's 15, 16 now, 15, 16 division sprinter. I'm a coach, USATF level 2 certified coach. I'm an athlete, former national champion of 60 meters. So I'm involved with US. Oh, and I'm also an official. Thanks, Dick Sutton. So I'm involved with USATF all the way around, and it's certainly important for me, not so much about myself personally, but to give the everyone the opportunity where I can and serve as as a catalyst to keep track and field going in Hawaii. So I'd like to introduce those that the other officers. If maybe we can start down the line. Let's start with Jane first. Hi, Jane.
I've been involved with USA Track and Field since 90.
Uh-oh, hold on, Jane. I muted Joe because I thought Joe was talking. Okay. Jane, you there? Come back again to me. I'm so sorry. Jane, come back to me. Joe, can you get Jane off mute?
I am.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. So I've been involved with track and field since 94. And we got started because our son was throwing shot put and discus. And we just, both Joe and I have continued after he had stopped in his junior year of high school.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jane. And then for everyone, Jane is our membership chair. So she's served as a membership chair for how long, Jane? How have you been membership chair? For a while.
Since Joe was president, his second year of being the president.
Mm-hmm.
2015.
2015.
Okay. Thank you, Jane. Let's go to Heidi.
Good evening, everyone. Hold on, let me put the camera on so you can see both of us. Well, you can't see Jake. You can see Jake like this.
See.
Oh my goodness. So my name is Heidi. I'm the treasurer for USA Track and Field Hawaii. I've been doing actually the USA Track and Field since I got on island in 2000. My oldest daughter now is 26. So I've been doing it for a long time. I started off as a coach when Joe was the coach for Hawaii Roadrunners. And then we have now our youngest 6 years old who will be participating and keeping her motivated, trying to anyway.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, thank you, Heidi. Okay, let's go to Jake. Jake, you have to stand up.
Stand up.
I know I am kind of short, you know. For those who don't know, I'm Jacob Gentry. I've been involved with USATF since 2011-ish. Served in the capacity of coach, official, and was previously treasurer. Not treasurer, secretary for a bit. Willing to assist any way I can, and just learn from you guys. So
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Jake. Let's go to Francis.
I'm Francis Mukai. I've been the youth chair for a few years, been involved with USA Track and Field for much longer than that as a participant, member, and official or official. That's all I have.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Francis. So let's jump to, let's go to Joe. Joe, our community outreach chair.
I started with USATF in '94 when I started the Hawaii Road Runners, and I was head coach until 2013 when I was asked to leave. And I somehow became president 2015. And I was asked by Mark to be community outreach chair, and Mike has carried me over doing that.
Yes, sir.
We
Joe.
still get example.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Joe. Let's go to Dick Sutton. Dick Sutton is our head official, chief official, or officials chair for USATF Hawaii.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I think it's on the, I don't have it muted. Well, I started out, I think it was in '94. The prior president of the USA Track and Field, which may have been TAC at the time, absconded with all our funds. So we had to start from scratch. And it took us, and so we were putting on summer track programs, but we didn't have any treasury at the time. And so it took, and I guess in one time when I was compiling results from a summer meet, I got elected president. So I wasn't even there, So I got elected president, and I was president from 1994 to 2013. And at that point, I had assumed other duties. I was also a administrator and coach for Hawaii Kai Track.
Oh.
And so I was got to be a level 1 coach, and Hawaii Kai was one of the biggest clubs for a long time. Then I also got involved in the Honolulu Marathon. I was lawyer for the Honolulu Marathon for 30 years, and I did a 2:46 marathon. So, I was a pretty serious competitor at one point.
Were you driving by chance? Were you in a car?
Or... what's her name gave me a ride? So, I've been involved in a lot of different aspects. I'm still involved now as the certification chair for officials. So I would, and I've got to know many of the officials, and I want to help out any of the other people becoming officials, and we want to, reach out for them.
Absolutely. Okay. Great. Thank you, Dick. Let me go. I think I got everybody that Ron Pate's not here. He's our sanctions chair. So let me start to the coaches and team leaders. I saw that Joni Chen, Godspeed, just joined. Hey, Joni. Joni, can you unmute? And then we're just doing introductions. Wait, we can't hear you.
Okay, hi.
There you go. We can hear you now.
Joni Chin, Godspeed Track. Rick's on his way down.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Joni. Thanks for joining. Let's go to Andre. Andre, I think, believes what, Minihuni?
Yes, sir.
Hey there.
Think you can see me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Coach Andre. Been with Minihuni Track Club along with Duke Oda and Robin Kimura. I've been with them for probably about 10, 11, 12 years now.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Coach Andre. We have Mark. Mark with Colorado Windrunners.
Hi, I'm Coach Mark from the Kelly Windrunners. We're a new team. We've only competed 1 year, 2019 USA Track. So hopefully, once COVID's over, hopefully this year we'll be coming back. So
Right on. Thanks, Mark. And Mark has been since he's joined. I enjoy running against Mark. He's been my one of my most competing competitions in the 100 meters, so in the 60 meters. So thanks, Mark. Let's go to Ross. Ross, you there?
Yeah, I'm Ross Kidani. I'm just here to find out what you guys are all going to be doing. I'm an assistant coach over at Kalani High School, and my head coach sent me this link and asked me, if I was interested in listening in on what you guys are going to be discussing.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely. Welcome, Ross. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's go back to our presentation here. So we'll recap 2020. So, man, there's this thing. It was called COVID that just ruined the whole doggone seasons last year. So, sorry, I really shouldn't joke about it, but it was such a surprise, I think, for me, just to see how quickly it certainly escalated. We started off with a bang, USATF Hawaii. We held a USATF Level 1 course here in January 2020. 22 coaches attended. I think I know several coaches that received their Level 1, which was awesome. USATF Hawaii, we received Outstanding Organizer Award for Run, Jump, and Throw. Although the event was held in the fall of 2019, USATF finally got around a way to approving the success of our association, or recognizing our association. And then COVID happened, which ended a lot of track and field for both the intermediates, the high schools, and really summer track last year. Also, we had a Zoom call, and if anybody's interested in that presentation, I have it, and I can post it to everyone here. So looking ahead, there was a question, and I just want to make sure and be, full of transparency, right? What we did from an organization or association, rather, we rolled over the association elections from 2020, voting in 2019 to 2020 to 2021. So this was at the suggestion of USATF, the national office. There were the majority of the associations across the U.S. Did this. So by no means did I attempt to do a coup or a dictatorship or extend the life of the presidency. Trust me, the life of the presidency isn't something that you want to extend, right? But we kept the same officers from the last election, and we really hope to be more involved at some sort of capacity as an opportunity to have track and field or cross country or any sort of USATF Hawaii led event, provided that we have guidelines and safety protocols from local and state government. I'm watching the rooms here just to ensure no one's not waiting in the lobby. So tell you about some USATF developments. USATF, right at the end, the beginning of COVID, they decided that was the best time to launch their USATF Connect website. And I'm not sure if anyone has actually used it. It is not intuitive. It's not easy to use. It's not fun to use. And it's downright difficult sometimes. But there are little shortcuts that you can work your way around through videos, through videos and tutorials that are online. So if anyone here has a question or wants to get into the tutorials, then let me know and we can share that out. I just saw Coach T with the Renegades. Coach T just arrived to the meeting. Welcome, Coach T, if you can hear us. All right, we'll keep going. So USATF Connect is the place where all safe sport background checks, officials information, and when I refer to officials information, I mean the certifications, to sign up, to do the background checks and Safe Sport. Membership updates and age verifications are now all in one place in USATF Connect. It used to be Jane Washington, our membership chair, that would receive the birth certificate, and she would might make a mark and update the send the information in. That is no longer. Even the data has gone more to the sign up people, and then when I refer to the sign up people, the parents or even the athletes themselves. USATF has put a lot of that responsibility on them and taking the management of those athletes away from the clubs and the team leaders, unfortunately. So it's a bit of a change, but hopefully there's a plan to continue to make it better. The 2021 championships, USATF National JO Championship is in Jacksonville, Florida this year. And the USATF Masters Championship was just moved from Sacramento to Iowa due to COVID restrictions. USATF has a COVID logistics website. I put the link here, and you guys should be able to access it through the PDF. It's for all events: run, jump, throw, cross country. It's for track and field, and there's some real stipulations in there to host a sanctioned event. Things like all athletes must be tested within 7 days, have a negative COVID test. All meet personnel must be tested or vaccinated within vaccinated within 2 weeks of the event and tested within 7 days of the event. Masks are mandatory, social distancing. So there's a lot of logistic stuff that getting to the point of where we want to hold a meeting, a meet that is, pardon me, an event. We're going to have to up our game in terms of adhering to those protocols to allow for a sanctioned meet. And then, of course, the city and county of Honolulu, I don't believe there's anyone in from Neighbor Island, but across the state, there are city, county, and permit restrictions, even to just get out at a park to do an event. There are restrictions, but please don't let that discourage you, all team leaders, from meeting with your athletes to keep them active, to keep them fit. Unfortunately, right now we can't commit to a date of when we can actually start track and field. And I'll talk a little bit about ILH and OIA from what I understand is going on. And let me pause there just as we're going on. Does anyone have any questions about any of this? Hey, Joni, question?
Yeah. So city and county, or I guess state, hasn't really determined when we can actually have these things, so we just have to wait before we can go on.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a reopening in Hawaii that, we're Joe Washington is working with the city and county of Honolulu to acquire a permit, perhaps for us to hold an event. Maybe that event looks like a sprint race, right? That we can register athletes somehow to do, not a true blue, excuse me, and full blown track meet, but maybe it's just like a run, jump, and throw event, particularly I think for the younger ages, and just run them and see you later. And just next heat, you run 100 meters. Here's a ribbon, first place, second place, third place, and then see you later, right? So we're discussing, at least to the point, brainstorming that is, of what we can do. I know our membership chair, youth chair, Francis, he's in tune to what we can do as well. And I don't know, Francis, did you want to make any sort of comments or anything like that involving?
Well, just that the current guidelines are very strict, and like Mike was saying, they got to wear masks, practice social distancing. They cannot congregate, they cannot socialize. So like Mike says, they do the event, then we get rid of them. They got to disappear. But just want to mention, we just got to keep our eyes and ears open to how these rules guidelines change, because they're constantly changing, especially the USATF ones. And at some point, cross our fingers, we're going to hit tier 4, And then a lot of these restrictions go away. So, you know, we got to be prepared for that possibility too, if that occurs before the summer.
Absolutely. Thank you, Francis.
Yeah.
Joni, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hey, I got you, Joe. I see your hand up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Joe.
I had a call from Halaba District Park on Friday. They're not taking any permits at this time, but if things keep going the way they're going, they will get more information on how they're going to do things on April 12th. So we have to wait until then. I have the permit already filled in. I'm just waiting to send it in when they say I can.
Okay.
We are on the list though for a long time now.
Yeah, no, Joe, I know you've been on top of that. Thank you. Because I ask you about it every week. So thank you, Joe, for staying on top of that. I appreciate you. Hey, Coach Rick, what's happening?
What's up? My question, I guess that answers my question. I'm just talking about facilities, and yeah, that's the park that we were at for cross country, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the one. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
one.
a park because it has a lot of flat.
Yeah. So let's harp on this just a little bit more, right? By no means does this restrict you and your clubs from gathering, as long as you're following the state and local guidelines, right? So if you want to invite a group of 10 athletes, up to 10, I think actually it's a group rather, so a group of maybe 8 and 2 coaches, that kind of thing, you are absolutely free to do so. So by no means is USATF, Hawaii, raising any restrictions against any of the clubs. This is a USATF national office sanctioning restriction that we have to adhere to, unfortunately. So please, Mark, Coach Rick, Coach Andre, please take your kids out. Coach T, please get the kids out, get them running, and enjoy until we can figure out when we can actually open up.
Okay.
You know what, Michael? Since my face isn't on the screen over
Yes,
there,
sir.
I've talked to the 2 schools that we normally use as a facility.
Mm-hmm.
Things don't look good.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And I'm certainly not going to get our group or anybody into trouble.
Yeah.
And get, if we have to shut down one more summer, we're going to shut down.
Yep. I understand. And safety first, by no means are we, from an organization perspective, and just me personally, as much as I want track and field, looking to break any of those rules. So it's unfortunate, but I think this year different than last year. I would suggest that the kids, the coaches, the parents, take more onus and get the kids out running. Right, keep them active. Get on the field. Kapiolani Park is wide open. There's a rugby pitch in the middle. It's 100 meters. There's places all around the island that have open parks. The military bases, they are actually allowing people to use the track. So if you know someone that has base access, by all means, piggyback with them and get on base and enjoy yourselves. All right, next slide. Here's some stats that we gathered. I gathered them this morning. So at this point, there are not 10 to the 6. That is my bad in formatting, but there's 106 total active members across USATF Hawaii. 600 Godspeed. Let's see, 200 Renegades. There's several unattached, 46 members unattached. Valley Isle Track Club has 16 members, and as you can see, these numbers here are what the settings are. So if you believe that someone is registered and they're not in your accounts, have a look and then talk to them, and it's a whole process to get them transferred. It's not very easy with USATF Connect, but at least once you do contact them, it is fairly quick. This is the breakdown of, we have several masters, and that's because those are our officials, right? So we have several officials that have re-upped their membership, 72 officials over 30, our masters athletes over 30, 2 open division, and we have 32 keiki, our youth athletes. All right, so we have, this is our cost structure. This is something that USATF wanted to, been for the longest time trying to do. Yes, they raised the fees. Is there a benefit out of the fees? Probably not. I mean, the cost of living, I guess, right? But this is the fee structure. So it's $25 for youth. This is a 1 year membership. $40 for adults, 1 year membership. There's a $150 VIP membership for 1 year. If you're interested in that, I signed up for it just to see what it brought, and they sent me a bracelet and a luggage tag. So, yay, right? I was expecting to get, a pair of signed shoes from Michael Johnson or somebody, but nope. Nope. There's a $140 officials membership. It's $40. This if you sign up for a 4-year term, this is new actually. It's $140. It saves you $20 over 4 years, or you can pay $40 year to year. At this point, USATF Hawaii, we have our summer fee, which we believe will still be $20, but we're discussing ways of collecting the fee, mainly probably a touchless perspective where you will pay the fee through the athletic.net registration rather than handing your $20 bill to Jane and Heidi at the beginning of the season. So stay with us there. If it does happen, we'll certainly be able to communicate this very openly. Coaches and volunteers, USATF, the national office is pressing very hard on this, and I think this certainly is important. I agree with this as well. This is our safe sport requirement for all coaches and team leaders. Your club cannot be renewed and valid unless all your coaches and your staff are safe sport certified. And let me ask Jake or Jane, can you guys make sure that I'm correct in saying that?
They went back and forth on that, Mike. In regards to the person registering the club has to be safe sport. I mean, ideally, you want all the coaches or administrators doing it, but at a minimum, to my understanding, it has to be at least the coach that is registering the team.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jake. And we'll make sure of that. I mean, USATF and is dictating to us. No one should be a volunteer without being safe sport. Here, it's hard to. Volunteers are rare, right? So we're so grateful and thankful for volunteers. So we have to do it in a safe manner, right? In terms of either a trusted volunteer program where we, provide them the information, they check it off, right? Something validated. But we honestly prefer that they do safe sport. So we, so we're good here in this. But so if you have coaches or volunteers within your clubs, they want to volunteer and help us out, please, request that they perform the safe sport. And if it's an issue with the $16 or monies, please have them submit back to us, and perhaps we'll look into a program where we can support the coaches and volunteers here.
So Mike,
yes, sir.
Dick Sutton. Yeah, I want to emphasize that safe sport is, well, they've got 2 programs. One is for people who've never done it before, then they got a refresher course. So if you've done it before, it's a very short process. But if you haven't done it, it takes a while.
Yeah.
And there's no shortcut. You basically have to go through this.
Indeed.
I mean, we understand that USA Track and Field, as part of the Olympic organization, was required to implement safe sport because it's a federal law that was passed in response to the USA Gymnastics.
That's correct.
And so the idea is to try to sensitize people to problems that could occur and to report those problems. And it was really quite good to see that USA Track and Field, jumped in right away and got people to comply.
Yep.
So I just wanted to add that.
Yep. Oh, great. Thanks, Dick. All right. Next slide. So reopening Hawaii, and as I mentioned earlier in the slide, city and county permit restrictions are I was going to say hard to come by. I mean, they're not providing any of those, right? At this point, we don't have a venue or commitment on the venue. And as Coach T mentioned, the opportunities for venues that we've used before in the past there's no commitment there. In fact, Punahou reached out to Jeff Meister, where we've held meets before, has said the campus is closed for the summer. I told Jeff, I said, I don't want to use the campus. I want to use the track. He didn't think that was funny. I thought it was hilarious, but he didn't think it was funny.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah,
Don't poke the bear,
sorry.
Michael.
I know. I'm so sorry. Let me go
He's
back.
having a hard time as it is.
Yeah. Okay. So there are restrictions on the OIA and ILH. I know more about the ILH restrictions in regards to track. They're splitting the meets. The teams will not run as dense as they have before. They are Punahou and Iolani have been designated as host sites. I still believe that's the case. If not, Punahou will host one meet on a Friday night and one meet on a Saturday, whereas the athletes will be split. The larger teams will be split into two teams. One team's competing on Friday night, one team competing on Saturday. They are planning all athletes must run with masks, right? So the 100, the 200, the 400, the 800, the 1500, the 3000, pole vault, long jump, the whole 9 yards, athletes must wear masks. Hand times are being proposed. There's no state meet. And as I mentioned, the mask, alternate lanes, and hurdle and block sanitization will occur if a athlete hits a hurdle. I thought that was not true, but that's something that they're actually planning. So, and if the schools are that restrictive, our restrictions will likely be even stricter, right? So I just want to make sure that we understand sort of where we're headed and where we're getting. I don't see this to break apart easily, more so to allow us to have freedom of no mask and and such. I tell you, on the mainland, they're competing like gangbusters. I attended a meet in Arizona last month, and no mask. People were high-fiving, elbowing, chest bumping, water coolering, all that. And it's a different world on the mainland. But pardon me.
Winning national championships.
Oh yeah. So
they just won their fourth.
Yep. All right. So let me go next slide. So here's a schedule that we're proposing, right? And the reason why we wanted to get a schedule out was to at least lock in the idea in the mind to these facilities that if it does come up available, think of us first. Right, think of USATF Hawaii first, right? So, this is something that we could share if you guys feel comfortable, communicating to your members, your athletes, your parents, and folks that are interested in track and field that you're aware of. However, these are still tentative and proposed dates. Okay, and you guys, they're part of the packet that we sent out earlier. So if you have them, if you need to have them, let me know. I'll email them again. The last one there, the Junior Olympics, we received an email, and Francis, do you want to give an update on the membership as a youth chair on what USATF is saying for the Junior Olympics, the qualifications?
I don't know. I just know that they have the meets on, and as you know, we don't have to qualify for regionals.
Right.
But I think we still got to do an association meet though.
Correct. And that was one of the emails that we were referring to, that the understanding that most locations, not only just everywhere in the mainland isn't competing, but some associations are not able to hold meets because of the restrictions that they have. So they're thinking of how they're going to perform. I don't know. So stay tuned for news on that. We'll share as it comes to us. So next steps, what I'd like to propose is maybe a monthly check-in. Plan for the next meeting be April 18th. Hopefully within the next 3 weeks, there's some movement in conversations. By then we'll have a few ILH meets, likely some OIA meets that will go on. And then we can just share just kind of the progress, how that goes. We will continue to send out more up-to-date information. I want to communicate even more so to the team leaders and coaches, because I'm sure parents are beating down your doors to go, when are we going to, when is it going to, when are we going to do, what's happening, what's going on, right? So hopefully this meeting has allowed you guys to go back to them and let them know what's going on. And then membership communication, right? So there are several members that maybe don't have parents that are managing their accounts. So we want to communicate to them that are unattached and just let them know what's going on. I would advise that as you guys, as team leaders and coaches, if you have team practice, please follow local, state guidance, safety protocols, right? By no means are you restricted from getting out on the field or a park or, you know, any place like that, but just do it safely and within the guidance of local and state guidelines. And then I'd say follow us on social media. You know, we want to communicate and build our continue to build our notifications and our brand there. And if you have any questions or concerns, please email us directly, right? At the emails listed below. And then I wanted to open the floor for any questions or discussion. We have 15 minutes, which is, I think, perfect timing, allowed me to get through this slide. So thank you all for your patience. But please, let's open the floor and ask any questions.
Mike, I guess
Want to
this
know a
is.
little bit about the OIA?
Yeah.
Oh yes, sir. I'm sorry, Dick. So Coach
Go
T,
ahead.
I know the. So I have a parent that I work with. His daughter competes at Mililani, and they just started track. They started last week, Monday. They started with the return to sports training, and this young lady is not a return to sports training athlete. She's an elite sprinter, and it's driving her crazy. She's like, when are we going to sprint? When are we going to use the blocks? When are we going to run 150? You know, that kind of thing. But Coach T, I'm sure, would you share any information that you have, sir?
Well, they're going to start meets on the 17th of April.
Okay.
That's been said.
Okay.
And they're going to run every week on Saturdays, unless there's a YA ADs meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Final thing, but they've got they're going to use 4 different sites every week. The majority of the sites are going to be electronic timing.
Oh, wow.
At least at Moana Lua, because you know who's working over there.
Yeah, yeah. What are they?
I've been told that they're going to try to do every meet electronic.
What are they? Who are the officials? Are they using USATF officials? Are they using? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Hawaii does not have that. They don't have no officials.
Right.
School is going to get a job.
Who's that?
Every school that's in that meet will have a job.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're going to run, unless things change, they're going to run all lanes. There will not be open lanes.
Okay.
Masks?
Yeah, mask.
Yes, mask. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
But until, you know,
Are they doing any sort of density checks, Coach T? Are they doing
You know what?
limiting
I
athletes?
guess all of this is going to be taken care of at the meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
You know, I help Earl when I can, so I'll have more information.
Okay.
Afterwards that I can pass on.
Right. Well, and you know, Jeff, better than I do, and I'm asking just from the standpoint of just keeping it same, right? ILH, OIA, right, to the closest ability of, in the ILH, you'll find out that these kids are world record holders because the hand times, right? Find out some kid ran a 9.5, from Marinol, right? Like 9.5 Marinol, right? But just trying to keep it.
I'm running Punahou relays.
Yeah, yeah, my
I'm
goodness.
time.
Exactly.
Well, the OIA isn't even going to have any championship meets.
Oh, really? There's just
any division, none.
Wow. So yeah, so at least I think ILH is keeping. They're having 2 or 3 meets, and then they're going to have an ILH championship at the end of that.
Varsity only.
Yeah, varsity only. Varsity only. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't.
So Walter, this is Dick Sutton. Is there
Yes,
anything?
I see you on the TV here.
Okay, anything posted? Any ILH or OIA schedules posted? I can't find anything. I'm looking now. I don't think they got
OIA
anything.
isn't scheduled because the finalized meeting is tomorrow, either tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow night.
So they might put something up after that.
Earl, he'll have it up.
Okay, because I mean, one of the things is that it seems like, during COVID, everybody's keeping stuff close to the vest. So we don't know if anything's going on.
Yeah, well, most of the schools, like here out at Castle, they because none of the kids were going to class, they can't start till next week.
Yep.
These ILH schools are going.
Well, I can tell you what. Well, my daughter goes to Marinol. We started school in August of last year, right? And we haven't stopped. So I think from a USATF Hawaii perspective, the only reason I'm asking and being prodding to this is just following the same sort of guidelines, right? Protocols, that is. Maybe, that if we are able to compete and use a venue that these same schools are using, we follow and we adhere to those venues, and then provide the athletes, more opportunities to run, right, and compete. That's kind of where I'm coming from. But again, USATF, there's a very strict protocol that all athletes are tested. That can be expensive. It's $130 minimum that I've seen just to get a COVID test. So I know that's not going to happen from the standpoint of a weekly perspective, but that's what the rule is now. The rule being the sanctioning a requirement to hold a USATF sanctioned event. Right. But no, great. Thank you, Coach T. That was for the update on OIA. So that's
I
yeah.
know it ain't happy, but
No,
it is
man.
what it is.
Exactly.
Unfortunately,
don't
we
be
don't even have a place to practice at Leisure Dawn.
Yeah.
Got shut out of Castle.
Oh wow. Yeah, same Marinol.
In there.
Same Marinol. They got shut out of McKinley. So we but tell you, we bus the kids to Kapilani on some days, and we bus the kid. Well, excuse me. We walk the kids to Makiki Park, and then we use what little land we have at Marinol at the middle school, right? So those are 3 options. But yeah. Yep. Okay. All right, let me open the floor for any other questions. Anything
I see
from
Joni's hand up there.
Hey, Joni.
So before each meet, they have to be tested?
That is USATF sanctioned. So the responsibility is you have to be tested. So if we were to hold a sanctioned meet, let's say Saturday, okay, next Saturday, all athletes that are participating must be tested and have a negative COVID test within 7 days of the meet. All officials and all staff and coaches must be tested within 7 days of the meet. All medical staff must be tested within 7 days of the meet. If you're vaccinated, you must be vaccinated within 2 weeks, fully vaccinated within 2 weeks of the meet. So these restrictions are very, very strict,
Oh,
and that's to hold a sanctioned meet, right? They are
Wow.
at the NCAA's and at the they have money. They have that money, right, to test. There's no spectators, so even if we were to have a meet, I don't think there's going to be a lot of Kailua Windrunner athletes that are 5 and 6 year olds getting dropped off by their mom and dad and say, go have a great meet. I'll pick you up at 6, right? So yeah,
wow.
we're just restricted. Now, if opportunity comes, as I mentioned, if the permits open up, we can do something in the city and state, within the park, but it won't be a sanctioned event, right? Even like if we want to have a cross country meet, it won't be a sanctioned event, right? So we'll be doing it with the park permit, but without the insurance that we get from sanctioning. So Jake and Francis, keep me honest here about the insurance, but yeah, it's really a challenge. It's really just frustrating. Yes, sir, Joe. Joe has his hand up.
Okay, I think in the past, I had to show the certificates of insurance to the parks, and all these venues out there, they're gonna want that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
This
And
is a big challenge.
it's a massive challenge, right? So, the opportunity will be this: if we are to hold a meet, provided one, we have a venue, two, we get our sanctioning. Unfortunately, the requirement is going to have to be all athletes that participate will have to be tested,
Wow.
What are you trying to do?
right? That would just be the rule. And the reason why I say that is because on the mainland, comparatively to the associations on the mainland, that's what they're doing. In fact, there was a meet today, Sunday, that we nearly attended. We being myself and my daughter, in Phoenix or in Surprise, Arizona, that had that stipulation, and they had several hundred athletes that took the COVID test, tested negative, signed up, and competed. Now the times were not very good. I think the winning time of the 100 meters masters was like a 12:3, but there was competition going on out there.
I can't run 12.
So, yeah, it just understand, guys. And if you click the link, you can actually see some of the information there about the COVID protocols and restrictions, that guidelines that USATF has on us. And share with your track community, your parents. Like I said, again, Joni was shaking her head. I know the parents of Godspeed, and so I know they're beating down the door like, hey, we need to get going. We need to get going. So it's just a restriction that we can't overpass.
So vaccinations, you can only get vaccinated like one time. So as long as they do it within 3 weeks.
So it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So if you're vaccinated within 2 weeks of the meet, then that gives you the clarification. So if you show your vaccination card in here, and I have mine. I'm not quite done, but there's my vaccine. I get my last vaccination on the 1st of April. But yeah, that's kind of the rule.
After vaccination,
Yeah,
basically.
after vaccinations, right?
Yeah.
So Mike,
Yes, sir.
if because a lot of people have been vaccinated before, so if they're vaccinated and it's not within 2 weeks, and then they got to take a test.
Yes,
right?
sir. That's correct.
And so is it pretty much that each individual has to find their own test facility and get the results?
Well, that is the correct. And I know for the Phoenix meet, there where that was the stipulation that they were saying. I don't think I don't think that if we were to do that, I don't think that we would have a partner in hand to say, go work with, let's say Heidi knows someone and say, go to Heidi's clinic, right? I think we just put out the stipulation and just say we require a negative PCR test within 7 days of the meet. Wherever you can find it, produce the QR code or the certification of certificate of negative test, and we will stamp them. That is something that USATF Connect does not have in the website, right?
So, but Mike, do you get any impression that, as there's more vaccines throughout the country, that there's, less incidents of COVID, that maybe USATF may be less stringent?
Yeah, Dick, I hope so. I mean, and they have a tiered approach as well. I don't know where that magic number is, if it's percentage wise. And here we are, the USATF may, for example, they may allow, go ahead, have your sanction meet, but then the city and state of Honolulu and the Hawaii is likely going to be more restricted to that point, right? And like I said, I mean, at the meet in Arizona, everybody's walking around with no mask on. I mean, you would have thought you walked through a time, what there was no one was wearing mask, right?
More masks in Arizona.
Yeah. So and everyone competed without mask and shot putted without mask and high fived and elbowed and the whole 9 yards without mask. The one thing they did do is they had the spray bottle and they took the spray bottle and they sprayed the blocks down. That was it.
Did they put it in their mouth as well?
No. They just I thought that was just something that they did. Right.
They spray the blocks down, but they don't spray where their hands go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, but we have about 3 minutes just for the time of this meeting. I wanted to make sure that if anyone had any questions, Coach Nasser, I saw Coach Nasser from Kalani joined. Thanks, Coach Nasser. Does anyone have any questions or any input to this meeting that they would like to raise?
Hey, Mike, it's Heidi.
Hey, Heidi.
So for us officials or adults or coaches who've been fully vaccinated, such as Jake and myself as healthcare workers, am I understanding that we still have to test even if we're fully vaccinated?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That is, if you're fully vaccinated and you're vaccinated fully within 2 weeks prior to the event, you're okay.
So it has to be only 2 weeks. So that never mind. Then we still have to do it even though we're fully vaccinated.
Well, no. So let's say if the meet is May 1st, are you guys fully vaccinated? Both your shots?
Both of us were done. We were done under 1B.
Okay. So then you're fine. You're fine to attend the meet. But let's say that you were vaccinated today, you only had one shot, and the meet is next Saturday, you would have to have a negative COVID test.
Thank you. I won the bet. Yes.
You guys are like gambling based on my right. Right. Jake, that's why Jake was sending me text message. I was wondering about that. Jake was sending me text like, hey, tell her.
I was like, no, I can't. That doesn't make sense.
All right. Anyone else? I saw Mr. Tony Jones. Hello, Tony. Welcome to the meeting. And what I'll do, I have this meeting recorded, and I will send it out to email. I'll likely put it on Google Drive or something like that, so you guys can watch it. Perhaps maybe it on YouTube, and then you guys can share with your parents or and other folks that perhaps missed this meeting, and just have them reach out for questions. But
one other thing, Mike, you
Yes,
might
sir.
explain, for social network, a lot of people are on that. There's a USATF Hawaii Facebook website.
Oh, you mean social media?
Social
Yes.
media, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
Yes.
okay, I don't know what that, I mean, Facebook is Facebook. I don't know. You got all this jargon.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you're right. So we have our Facebook page, we have our Twitter, we have our Instagram, we have the Hawaii Track and Field officials have a Facebook page. So I think it's a proper place to have information, but from official perspective in official capacity, I think we either want to make sure that that's on our website. So I'll admit, I haven't done a very good job of keeping up that social media stance on Twitter and Instagram and even Facebook. But I think we want to make sure that we continue to communicate openly and just keep things going, right? So I would say that if you all, as coaches and team leaders, do anything with your athletes, by all means, hashtag USATF HI, USATF Hawaii. Let's keep the excitement up. I mean, eventually, I think this will pass. By the time it passes, I'll likely be in the 50 age range for masters athletes, but it will pass, and hopefully we can get our athletes back to competing.
Good.
Thank you, Zach. Anyone else?
Getting go after Bill Collins.
Okay, well, great. Thanks, everyone. We're out of time here. I'll find a way to download this and upload it. But again, share with your parents. By any means, I leave you with there are major restrictions with USATF that prevent us from actually getting sanctions, the testing part. We haven't acquired a venue yet. There's major restrictions with OIA and ILH to do track and field. There are no restrictions for you all other than following the local and state guidelines with your athletes to go out and do some training. Perhaps if you know someone on the military side, I know Kaneohe is open, and I know some of the other military bases are open that have tracks, or just get out to the park and run around with your kids. But by all means, please don't let that restrict you from being active with the kids. And they need you as coaches and as team leaders. I know I talk to the kids at Marin all the time, and they're hurting. They're hurting. So anytime we have the opportunity to offer that sort of physical activity in a safe environment, it's beneficial for the kids. So. All right. Well, with that, guys, if we no other further questions, we'll adjourn, and I'll send this out. Coach Nasser, did you have a question? Your camera came on.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you something, but I don't want to bother everyone else with it.
Okay. All right. That's all good. Now everybody else is going to stay now.
Yeah, I was just because I missed the beginning. I just wanted to clarify that we don't have we're not cleared for that proposed schedule you put up yet because we don't have venues. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we don't have the venues, and two, the restriction on the sanctioning, which offers us the opportunity to have an official meet with the insurance, excuse me, is the restriction. But at least that's what we're proposing, and we put that out just so that we could make partnerships with schools that are offering the opportunity to use other facilities and venues for the summer.
Maybe Heidi can have it at Kalani.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, with track season happening for OIA and ILH, if everything goes well, the schools will say, oh, this is okay, this will work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everyone's just sort of waiting to see how track season goes, how these meets go.
Yeah.
Before anyone makes a commitment.
Yeah.
I do know that I don't think any of my kids who were thinking about summer track will do it if they have to pay $150 for a test.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. It's something that if you had told me a year ago that we would be in this situation, I would have taken that bet. There's absolutely no way, right? But the reality of it is we're here, and I don't like it any more than anyone else. I wish there was some leniency there and maybe some, but unfortunately there's not, right? So that's what USATF, right? So, but what we'll do, what I'll commit to is updating and sending out information to everyone here, so that you guys have the latest information. I'll provide you the media access that I have, to the links and to the information, so that you all can subscribe to that information as well. And we'll just keep our fingers crossed, hope for the best, and but please, by all, like I said, take the kids out, take your athletes out, compete, have fun.
Yep. There's kids that can't wait to do it, man.
Yeah, I know. I
They're
absolutely.
ready to pay. They're ready to pay. They want to compete.
Oh, I'm tell you what. Yeah,
But that thins out a lot of the kids that we.
Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, it really does, right? And USATF, we have funds, but we ain't got those kind of funds, right? To pay for the
On the
athletes.
other end, I have serious people that are ready to go. They want to compete.
Yeah, I know. I know. And you're right, Coach Rick. So perhaps we can, like I said, if USATF does lighten the restrictions of the requirements of the protocols to hold a sanctioned meet, maybe we can have an opportunity to host meets like the OIA and the ILHs are doing, right? So I'm keeping my ear to the wall in response to how they are holding meets, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'd like to see what happens after the OIA meeting.
Yeah. Well, and Coach T, if you don't mind, keep us posted. I'd be very interested to hear,
Yeah, I might not have it by tomorrow, but by Tuesday I should have.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Has found out.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jake and Heidi, you guys have a question?
Yeah, more of a statement, if I may. We understand the enthusiasm of everyone. We've been on a couple calls with other clubs in the mainland that have put on meets, and they've ran into some legal problems by being very enthusiastic. I think it was one was at about 10 million in climbing that the club was getting sued for not following the COVID protocol. So just like we were saying, definitely hope that by getting into a different tier, that may be able to mitigate some of the testing, which will help us. But bear with us.
Yeah,
we're all
please.
Good comment.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to host track and field. That by no means it is a desire of mine to hold a meet, right? I'm willing, if we could hold it on Molokai. Guess what, everyone? Come on, we're going to Molokai, right? Nothing against Molokai, certainly it's a wonderful island. I'm just saying in the most obscure or remote location, right? But this is US wide, right? So okay, any more questions or comments?
Oh, wow. I just got an email from my AD with the 2021 OIA track and field schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and Coach T, he provided that some information earlier, and I'll send out the link to the meeting has been recorded. But yeah, it's I could share with you guys the information with the ILH, and I'll send some of that out just to maybe, like I said, following the guidelines and protocols that those leagues are doing. Anybody know what's going on the neighbor island? No?
Haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
have a lot of
but-
restrictions themselves.
They're not telling us, but they're probably fast.
Yeah, well, I do know back in February, before USATF had the harsh guidelines before track actually started, Maui club, they held a cross country event, and that was sanctioned, social distance, the whole 9 yards. And I think they may have had like 12 athletes compete. And I think that was the only thing that happened in Hawaii, within the last year. So my understanding, it was successful. But to Jake's point, and Jake, if you remind me who that was, when I heard the word $10 million, oh Lord, I just, if someone told me I owe $1,000, I think I pass out, right? So not
Yeah.
not 10 million. So we don't want that kind of smoke here with the USATF. I think none of us want to see any club or association impacted like that. We just, okay, we'll just follow the rules, follow the guidelines, right? And hope for the best. Jake, you still got your hand up? You still got a question?
No, sorry. Sorry.
I'll lower it. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks everyone. My sincere gratitude to all of you guys joining, and what you're doing for the kids and the athletes. I thank you all for your attendance here and your patience with us. I would ask that you help us pass this information on to your athletes, your parents, and those inquiring. And if opportunities come up where you guys can share, some thoughts of maybe some resourcefulness to help us, by all means, please do, right? Coach Nasser, Kalani is a wonderful track, if it's the only track. Right, it is the Hawaii's best track if there is an opportunity to go over there. And I think
Available.
yes. So but we'll hope for the best, guys, and thank you.
We've been there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You summer.
All right, appreciate everyone. Thanks everyone for your time tonight.
Thank you.
All right, aloha.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Fair enough.
See everyone later.
All right, thanks, Coach T.
Hey, Coach.
All right,
Oh.
okay, thanks guys, we'll see you later. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Closed.